We are now in the fifth webinar on promotion of transnational virtual access. Is a webinar organized by Reach Europe in conjunction with the other two NCP's project network, and HNN from Cluster 1, Greenet from Cluster 5, and Care for Bio from Cluster 6. This because the transnational virtual access opportunity that we are going to present today in details are related to this specific domain connected with the Cluster 1, Cluster 5, and Cluster 6. Those projects help us in the dissemination, and I see also that the participant today is a good number of participants, 65 increasing, so we are happy that we succeed on that. Just briefly, let me introduce the webinars again. And moreover, what we are talking about for one that are not so confident with transnational virtual access. Transnational virtual access means physical or virtual access to research infrastructure for researchers. In the framework of Horizon 2020 and the Horizon Europe projects, financed in the framework of a research infrastructure work program, there are specific budget lines that ensure free of charge access to the European research infrastructure for the researchers. This specific line, so we are talking about mobility for a scope. The budget line can cover travel, accommodation, subsistence cost, and of course are reimbursed by the project. These opportunities are open to all the European researchers and to some extent to research from non-EU countries. Just a very quick overview about that. Transnational access to infrastructure services offered under the grant is provided free of charge, I repeat, to select the researcher or researchers teams. Each transnational or virtual access calls have some peculiarity that there is appropriate calls on which the researchers can apply. I repeat this, can use the researchers that win the access can use free of charge the services, the tools, the equipment of the European research infrastructure that offer this kind of service. This, of course, thanks to the funding from Horizon Europe project. The transnational virtual access are mainly financed in the framework, I repeat, of research infrastructure work program. For this reason, Reach Europe, as NCP's project network of research infrastructures, provides some specific service like this one to promote this access. We do that in two ways. The first one is we have on Reach Europe website a database and where are displayed and are updated all the transnational virtual access open. The other way is the specific webinar like this one. Today we are we selected four out the several number of transnational virtual access. We invited the representative from the projects that enroll this kind of services to present in details the procedure of access in the framework of those projects. The other way on that we use to promote transnational virtual access as a Reach Europe project is the database. I think this is the unique point of access that collects all the transnational virtual access. We monitor manually all the projects financed now in the Horizon Europe and in Horizon Europe, and we check where there are TA opportunity, and we update the database. You can fine-tune the research through acronym, domain, status, and type of access. I invite you to visit our database to all the researchers. I think that for any question or doubts about the project and about this specific service, you can always contact us to reach.coordinator@apre.it. This is all from my side. And now I give the floor to the speakers that I want to really thank them to be with us. And I give the floor to the first speakers in the agenda, Beatriz Serrano Solano from AI for Life, Transnational Virtual Opportunity, scientific project manager. The floor is yours, and thank you again to be here.
Thank you so much, Daniele, for the introduction, also for inviting AI for Life to present in this webinar. I think it's a nice opportunity for virtual access that I will try to introduce today. So I'm scientific project manager at Eurobio Imaging, and in Work Package Live, in AI for Life, I lead the Work Package on communication, outreach, and training. So I'm going to introduce today the open call that we have now open, but first I will maybe say a few words about the project in general. So AI for Life is an European project that started 2 years ago, more or less, and we try to bring together two different communities that are usually not working together. So on one side, we have computer science community, which has usually a lot of expertise with developing of new methods and algorithms. And on the other side, we have this life science community that produces a lot of data, sometimes very challenging to analyze, and we try to bring them together and see if we can make this bridge a bit closer and make them work together more easily. And so for that, the project has different goals, and we try to reach them by different activities that we organize in the project in general. So we build on mainly two pillars. One is the bioimage model zoo. So that's a repository for pre-trained models. It's totally community driven, so anyone can deposit AI models in there for image analysis, but anyone can also consume them. So everything is obviously free and open. And what it's very interesting about the repository as well is that there is cross compatibility across different tools. So basically, when someone has they're used to a particular tool or there's a favorite tool and they want to use a model with that tool, that should be possible with by taking a tool that was trained or using a different tool to use them easily. So that's on the model side. And with that, we want to democratize the access to the AI methods, but also prevent that people need to retrain models that are already trained. And we also want to create standards for sharing these models and enable this cross-talking between them. Then we have a second pillar that is the bioimage archive, which is a repository for bioimages. And here we don't only have the input data for the algorithms, so that would be the data sets that are published on the domain, but also the AI-ready data sets. So sometimes we will have also the depositing data that is annotated already. So for example, cementation masks or some annotations in general, like bounding box or any other type of annotation can be also deposited at the bioimage archive. So those are the two pillars that we build on for opening these standards and models for the community. And now we try to engage also with these two sides of the bridge that I presented before. On one side with the open cons, so basically we address here of life scientists that have very challenging problems, and we can help them with deep learning methods. And on the other side, we also encourage the computational community to participate in challenges and compete for the best solution for a given problem. Of course, we organize also workshops, and the community is very active in participation in webinars, in all kinds of events, conferences, and so on. So a bit more about the bioimage model too. I said already, it's community driven, so anyone can do this, anyone can upload a model, anyone can consume a model. And the idea is to have these pre-trained neural networks that are easy for people to reuse. And I will show you now a feature that for me it's very interesting. I think it's the killer feature of the zoo, and we have the images that you can upload in the browser. So basically, you can test yourself if the model that you see on these model cards and the screenshot that I showed before, if this is something for you. So basically, you upload your image, you test the model, and then you can play a bit with it and see if that's the model that you need. So that prevents users to from having to install anything, having dependencies, or any kind of complications that can come from using this model. So it's very easy for testing and seeing if that fits. So that's on the bioimage model too. Then we have different open calls, and one of them is open now, but we had already two. So that's that was last year when we started, and we already successfully ran two of them. The third one is now open until, and that's wrong actually in the slide, it's on December 10th. So I will show you later all the details about this one. Sorry about the wrong image. I mentioned the three open codes, but also there is a challenge that we had last year, a few months ago, on denoising. We wanted to have the computational scientists also competing on getting the best image out of noisy images. And we will have more challenges in 2025. But today we'll just say a few things about our experience with the previous open goals and the details about the one that is running right now. So we had one, and the first one was quite overwhelming because we received 72 applications, and it came obviously everything from the life sciences, but we had questions on the application form for which domain that were coming from, and we saw a lot of obviously from cell biology, but also neuroscience, developmental sciences, and we also got some from marine biology and plants and so on. And this is also in part because our partners are working on these different domains. So we are working with 4 different research infrastructure that covering these things. So obviously the promotion was more straightforward in there. So that's on the first open call. And we also ask people, what is it that you need, or what challenge are you facing so that you are applying here? And we offer them 5 possibilities. They could select several of them. And we said that the most popular one is improving the image analysis workflow. So people are struggling with the optimization of that. But also the second option was about training data. No, sorry, the consultancy on available tools and solutions. So that for us means that there is a need for training because AI is everywhere and deep learning is also everywhere. And people want to know which methods are available and what is it that they can do to improve their analysis. Sometimes not AI might not be needed for basic analysis, so there is a need for training and making people aware of the different methods that are out there. Yeah, so we ran a long selection process. It was a bit complicated to select, but in the end, we managed to get 8 of them. And I have here a link at the bottom of the slide to the different use cases where you can see already in the flyers there that there are different image modalities, there are different type of projects. Some of them are plants, some of them are muscles, some of them are cells, all kind of tissues and all kind of image data. And we have also people from all over the world applying to the call. As virtual access was obviously free. And we also interview the different experts in the project. So basically, we have a pool of AI experts that will help these life scientists with the methods. And the idea is that we develop a new model that we deposit also in the bioimage model too, and that people can come back to it and reuse it as they like. So that's on the model side, but also on the data side, we also want to deposit the data that they have originally and also the outcome of the project. So that's for the bioimage archive. We interview the experts. We have plenty of information on the website. If you are interested in the particular use cases, please take a look at the website. And then we ran a second open call. So this time we made the process a bit more complicated. And we have 51 applications, very similar also topics. So cell and developmental biology are still on the top. And we have plenty of other fields applying as well. And it's also not normally everything bio, but we also get other images like satellite images, for example, also to analyze here. So these applications were also welcoming as well because the problem is not so different in that case. And we asked them, that's also in the first open call, but in the second open call, we also asked them if they already analyzed the data and if they had experience with it. And a chunk of people, the purple ones say, no, we haven't tried yet. The green ones say yes, and I'm very happy with it. And the yellow one said yes, but I'm not happy with it. So we were expecting a lot of this yellow one, but the green one was a bit surprising. And we were wondering, and then we asked them, how is it that you are very happy with the outcome of it and you are still applying? What do you need? And usually people reply with, the automation part. So basically, they would have done the process manually, and when they need to scale up or analyze more images, they want to do it in an automated way. They don't want to go again through the manual process. So that's something that we are working on the open call as well. We ask them what is the typical tools that they use and in their community or in their field. And we have usually ImageJ and Fiji. This is the most common one that we always get in the 2 open calls so far. But also we see more and more of custom codes or scripts and stuff like that that we are also welcoming here. So that's the process for the second open call. We also introduce here an extra step. So we have some consultation, and that's applicable also for the third open call. So basically we run a group of calls, like 1 or 2 calls per project that was selected. So in this case, we selected 20 out of this 50 something. And in this 20, we have 1-2 calls with experts to assess that the data is ready, that everything is prepared, that the project really fulfills the deep learning requirement. That is not very easy. And sometimes we also found that with just explaining or pointing people to the particular tool that will solve their problem would be enough for a solution, and they will not need 6 months of deep learning support. That is what we are offering here. So from these 20 projects, we selected 7, and you have the titles there. Again, we have everything on our website, how the process went, everything. It's documented and public there. And one interesting note here is that after the consultation, some of the project is reshaped to adapt it to the requirements of the code. So we have a couple of them with an asterisk on their ID, and those are the ones that were changing slightly after the consultation and with the input of the experts. Now we launched the last one, and this is the Good Friday. So the deadline is December 10th. So we do the same as we did with the second open call. We offer deep learning support for image analysis. And again, it doesn't have to be bio only, it can be something else. You have the website there, you have the QR. The application process is not complicated. It's a form, and you just need to put the details about what kind of data you have, and if you already analyze the data, and like the questions that I showed before, what kind of problem you are facing. But also you need to upload a small, very short slide deck with 2-3 slides showing an example of the image and the pipeline that you tried already, if you did, and how that works and what is the blocker. So the timeline and how we are going to do this in the end of this year and 2025, it's we have now the application phase until the 10th of December, and then we have a reviewing phase. So we have experts in the project that will be looking at the different applications and selecting some of them. Like this last time we selected 20, so that would be only for consultation. And then we will have 1-2 calls with these applicants to assess better how the project could work. And then after that, we will do the selection of a few of them. And this will be announced mid-February, possibly. And then we have the projects running from mid-February until August. And that's also important that we keep this timeline because the project is finishing in August. So we would like to have this opportunity for the third open call as well, that the applicants can really benefit from the 6 months of support from the experts. Finally, I will leave you here with a few numbers about the project. So there are 8 countries that are involved. It's for 3 years, so the project is finishing in December next year, 2025. We have 10 partners and 4 million euros of the budget. There are also some numbers there about the models that are in the bioimage models too. We also have some model and data community standards, the open calls, challenges. There will be more of them in 2025. People are also very active here in organizing hackathons, dissemination activities, participation everywhere, publishing, and we also have a quarterly newsletter that we release to the community. I think that's all I wanted to say. I will leave now here the website if you want to know more about the project in general, and there are clear pointers there to the open calls. And like I mentioned, there is a newsletter that we release quarterly. So if you want to subscribe to that one, there is also the link in there. And I think that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. There are some questions in the chat. We have the last part 10-15 minutes for Q&A. I don't know if you can stay with us till the end, so
yes.
maybe I can.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Then I think even some questions are cross-cutting even to the other speakers. So I just keep that on hold, and we continue with the presentation at the end. In the end of the interventions, we can reply. I give now the floor to Lakshmi Bhaskaran. I hope to well pronounce it. From Remade at ARI, Recyclable Materials Development at Analytical Research Infrastructure. The floor is yours, and thank you to be here.
Thank you so much. Can you see my slides?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's very exciting to be here and listen to all the other talks as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Hi to everybody. I am Lakshmi. I work as a project manager for the project Remade at ARI, and I'm based in Germany with the project leads at the Helmholtz Center, Dresden-Rosendorf. To start to explain to you about the project and give you an idea of what we are doing and how far we have come, and maybe try to motivate you all to probably apply to the open calls that we have, I would like to probably start with some questions. That is to say, if you are motivated to develop materials for circular economy, or if you have a brilliant idea connected to circular materials research or some kind of specific challenge related to circular materials research, then you have arrived at the right place, and we are here for you. So Remade at RE stands for Recyclable Materials Development at Analytical Research Infrastructures. Who are we? We are a project funded by the European Union as part of the Horizon Europe InfraServe 2021 call. We also have partners from UK and Switzerland, so we are co-funded by the UKRI and SERI. We are a fairly large consortium. We have about 47 partners across 17 European countries. And we are led by the project coordinators here at Dresden, which is the Helmholtz Center in Dresden-Rosendorf, Germany. At the core of Remade at RE is the RE facilities from 6 networks. Maybe you have heard about RE facilities. If not, this is a coming together of the analytical research infrastructures across Europe. And the 6 networks of RE involved with our project are the High Magnetic Field Labs, which is EMFL, the Electron Microscope Labs, eDreams, the Laser Lab of Europe, the photon-based sources, the community called LEAVES, LENS, which is a network of European neutron sources, and the ion beam facilities, and coming together of that, that's called RADIATE. Along with these 6 networks, we also have a few non-RE networks. These are networks that do not belong to the RE consortium. So the International Consortium CERIC, Nano NVCZ, and another facility which provides positron sources. Apart from this, we also have 2 more universities or institutes involved in the project, which act as knowledge providers, the University of Bonn and the RTO Danish Technological Institute. So what do we offer? I would like to say we have several offers within the project, and the largest pillar of this offer is a technical offer, which is the TNA, or the access to all these 6 networks, which is actually more than 50 research infrastructures across Europe. So in our bank, we have about 50,000 hours of TNA that we have promised to fulfill with a single goal of basically advancing the circular materials research. And within our portfolio, which is a catalog of techniques, we have about 20 plus techniques, again, across all of these networks. We have access for both industry and academia, and they are tailor-made access. I will tell you a little bit more soon. And the uniqueness of this project is that you have a single entry point. We have made it very easy for everybody to apply through a single entry point to as many techniques as you would like. So you can put in one proposal and you can apply for, within that one proposal, you can request access to more than one facilities, and we would welcome this where you request access for more than one facilities. What is shown in the graph on the right-hand side is how the number of hours are split across these various networks. And our KPI as such, or our goals, and these are large and grandiose goals towards the society, is to be able to fulfill about 50,000 TNA hours of research towards circular materials research, about 500 user projects, 1,000 users, and we have a KPI which is about being able to fulfill 35 SME projects and to attract about 10 large-scale industry projects. Our second offer, which is our science and support offer, because we understand that those users who come to us and apply may not necessarily know all the techniques. So we are a project with the heart of scientists, that is, we have about 180 senior researchers who will offer advice and expertise to the best combination of techniques. And we have about 18 junior scientists, all the beautiful faces that you see on the screen over here, who will provide support along the whole value chain of the project. That is, from the design phase to conducting experiments to the data analysis. The third offer that we have is our education and training. That is, we would like to make training available on diverse techniques of material characterization to existing and potential research infrastructure users. The goal is to empower the user community, and the goal is to advance the implementation of circular economy practices. So within this offer, we provide webinar series. They are usually monthly. You can follow them on our YouTube channel, or we have a YouTube playlist. So if you've missed any, you can go back and check out these webinars, and you can always find our event schedule on the webpage. We also have a workshop series. We've already had one last month, 2 months ago. We have another one coming up in November, and then there are several other workshop series specifically for the user community and based on one or a combination of material characterization technique. For more information on these offers, you can always check out our website. I do believe that these slides go up online at some point, so I have these links over here. If you just click them, they should directly take you to the webpage where you can find more information. Or you can also follow us on social media to get more information on our education and training offer. I would also like to say that we are also always looking towards more ideas. So we also have a help desk where if somebody is interested in getting hands-on training, or existing or a potential user it wants to get some training in a technique, we are also happy to provide this kind of training as well. Now, to give you a bit more on what our access routes look like. So like I already mentioned, we have 3 tailor-made access routes. The first one is our academic access route, which we call Remade TNA. So it's basically for the academic users. And then we have 2 different access routes for the industry research. One is for the SME users, so the small and medium enterprise users can take advantage of this. And the last one is the Remade In, which is the support for industry users, but this is a joint access with industry users and knowledge providers together. So let me tell you a little bit more about these access, and this is what I think the seminar is for today. That is to kind of try and attract all of you towards these offers that we have towards these access routes. So the first one is the Remade TNA. So I would like to call this a mission-based transnational access. So mission-based in the sense, the mission being advancing circular materials research. The target group is researchers from academia and industry. You apply with a proposal. We have about 2 calls per year. You apply with the proposal, and then there is, of course, a feasibility check, a review process, and then we announce the results of the call. Now, what is the benefit of going via this access route? Of course, the first foremost, it's easy, free, single entry point for multiple techniques. It's coordinated access to research infrastructures. You can always avail the science support team to come and help you if you're not sure of the what techniques can best suit you. This is also possible, and this is what we call a pre-proposal route. That is, you can write to us and tell us you have some idea, you would like to explore it more, and we will assign scientists to your proposal who can help you move further along with your idea. The next thing is that we are providing TNA access, and we understand that it's sometimes really hard for the users to travel and so on. So we kind of provide accommodation, and travel expenses is supported up to 2 researchers per proposal. And you can combine 2 or more techniques. I've already mentioned this a few times. We also do scientific advice. And given that this is a Horizon Europe project and it's a TNA access route, there is an obligation to report or publish the results in open access journals. So if you're interested in applying, then the pre-proposal route is always open. It closes just 2 weeks before the call deadline, just so that there is enough time to convert these pre-proposals into full proposals. And for full proposal deadlines, we have only 2 more calls remaining, and both the calls open next year. The call in spring opens in February, and in about 6 weeks it's open. So please apply by March 2025. And the second call opens, or the last call actually for the project, will be open in the fall of next year. So that would be closing in September 2025. If you have more information, you can always contact us at info@remade-project.eu. And I just want to give you some current status of where we are in terms of Remade TNA. So as you can see, we have had about, the column graph on the right-hand side shows our progress report, so-called, for so far. And we have had about 4 calls right now. So our KPI, as I mentioned before, was 500 user projects, and we are very happy to say that we are very close right now. We have about another 130 projects to go, and all of these projects from all the 4 calls have been are now in the process of getting scheduled, talking to the facilities, and some of them have already been completed. And I again want to say that this is mission-based, which means all of these projects had a mission towards advancing the recyclable materials development towards circular economy. So this is also 500 user projects is our goal. So the next access route I would like to give you a bit of details about is our SME, Transnational Access for Circular Economy. So this is a coordinated access for SMEs to RA facilities, again, to foster innovation for circular economy. The target group, it's obvious, it's a small and medium companies working on circular economy projects. Now, the benefit is that this is also full service access. I mean, you can access the RA facilities, so it's all included access. This is sort of a rolling call, so there is no deadline except for the 2 weeks in Christmas that the calls get closed. Of course, everybody is on holiday at that time, but otherwise there is no deadline. So if you are an SME and you're interested in working in, or you are currently working in materials development for circular economy, then please apply to this. Or if you know of somebody who might be interested, we would be very happy to talk to you and welcome you to apply for the Remade SME call. And over here, there is still a TNA requirement, but because we have a large portfolio, we will always be able to find something for you that satisfies its TNA requirement. And we have a wonderful, excellent, efficient work package just for the industry road, just for the SME and industry road. So they will always be able to assist you with this. And as far as how fast the measurements are performed, we do understand that it's very important. I mean, in relation to academic users over here, it's very important that the measurements are fast and it's very simple and so on. So that is one of the benefits of applying via Remade SME, and data analysis included in the process. And of course, there is no obligation to publish, and the results remain confidential. And like I said, if you're interested, the second call closes soon in about a month, and the third call will open again next year. That's the last and final call. So if you're interested, please write to us. And if you're for more information, you can also click on the link right above the title of this slide. And just to give you a little bit of a progress report, as you can see, the SME, we do have a really high goal of 35 proposals, and so far we are lacking a little bit, but I think we are really trying to disseminate the call, go around, talk to people, and we are really hopeful that we will be able to catch up to these 35 user projects. And the last access, which actually is currently closed, I was actually thinking if I should mention it or not, because it is a closed call right now, but it has been an astounding success for us. So I think it is still beneficial to mention, because it is a pioneer innovation pilot. It was the first time a call like this was tried, and so I would still like to mention it. It was a call meant for companies in partnership with an RTO, a CRO, any kind of service company working on circular economy project, coming together and applying for an RE facility. The benefit was that there would be a 30,000 euro grant for customization access, so that money could be used for expert services to the knowledge provider, consumables, building a sample environment, or any such customization process. And I have to say the goal over here was just 10 projects. If we could get 10 projects, which is company in collaboration with the knowledge provider and a RE facility, to come together and apply for this access. And the call just closed in August. And I'm very happy to say that we have actually had 10 proposals. So we've actually reached the KPI over here. So there is no future calls open right now for this. But this has been a very large success for us. So in a nutshell, I hope I'm not taking too much of the time, but in a nutshell, I want to say that Remade at RE is a 4-year project. So we started in 2022, we go until 2026. We are a consortium of 47 partners, and with one single application, one can access any of the 50 analytical research infrastructures. And we understand that there is a lot of support needed to be able to access or to understand what combination of techniques might be very beneficial. So like I said, we are a project with the heart of scientists, and we have about 18 young researchers and over 180 experts who can help you throughout the chain of your project. We also enjoy talking to you about your ideas and suggesting and advising you on it. So please feel free to apply for pre-proposals. And there are 3 target routes, like I already mentioned, and all in all of this, 47 partners, 50,000 hours, all of us, we all come together with one goal, and that is recyclable materials development for circular economy. So you bring in the challenge, we provide the measurements, the expertise, and the scientific support. So if you're interested, please apply to Remade at RE. And I know I'm the only person here standing as a face of the project, but I want to say there are many, many, many more people working in the background, day in and day out. It's a lot of us putting in a lot of hard work. So thank you for all of us, and thank you for your attention. And if you're interested, please contact us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. I think that some question have already received answer. For example, can private for-profit companies apply to use this infrastructure resource? It's depend from the call, as you mentioned, is possible in your case. For sure, we are going to share all the slides presented, and also the recording of this webinar will be uploaded on the Reach Europe website. In some cases, you have already the link to Google Drive for slides. Another question that maybe I can reply, and then I go to the next speaker. If a consortium is applying to a Horizon Europe call, and the call mentions to use access to infrastructure, when are we supposed to apply this access? Well, once that if the project is financed by Horizon Europe, will open the grant agreement preparation, and after the official start of the project, I think it depends from the timing of the project, 2, 3, 4, 6 months after the kickoff meeting, probably you can have the first transnational virtual access open. And then there are other questions that maybe I can put on hold again. Thank you very much for your presentation. I give now the floor to the third speaker today, Salvatore Fiore, Transnational Access Coordinator of RADNEX, Emerging Needs of Electronics Component and System Radiation. The floor is yours, and thank you to be with us. We cannot hear you. You have the mic mute. Dear Salvatore, we cannot hear you. Your mic is mute. No, not yet. Try to, I think you already switched off on your mic. Okay, now we can hear.
Okay, it said to me it was not muted, but okay, fine.
Thank you. Now it's okay.
Okay,
thank you. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks again, Daniele, and for this opportunity for being here today and to spread the word about a project which is RADNEXT, Radiation Facility Network for the exploration of effects for industrial research. It's a 5 years project. It's in fact on Horizon 2020 still, ending next year. And actually, yeah, the end of the project is May 2026, but obviously the transnational access calls end a bit before the end of the project. And I want to immediately stress the fact that the target community for us is the community testing radiation effects on electronics. So the main objectives of this project are to increase the beam time offer for this kind of testing, while instead worldwide we are seeing a general shortage of beam time for this test, mainly due to the increase of the demand for the new environments in which this kind of testing is more and more needed, either for the increase of missions, like for the space economy with new space, increasing in incredible way the number of launches and devices which are in orbit, or in domains where the need for radiation testing is becoming more and more necessary due to the increased reliability of some applications. In this sense, we want to establish a network of irradiation facilities, which are mainly acting as a single points for this kind of requests from users to streamline and to harmonize the offer between different facilities. Also easing the access to these environments, especially for SMEs, which can be more difficult to organize and test of this kind and to access these facilities really in practical terms. And also looking at possible future scenarios for the irradiation needs for radiation testing, both on the facility side and on the testing side, with aiming at standardizing, especially for commercial off-the-shelf components, the testing activities. So the primary target groups for us is, as I said, new space is one of the most emerging groups, most emerging economies, which are investing more and more radiation testing. but also those which are now moving to automation, like automotive with autonomous driving, Internet of Things, avionics, for which also the number of possible failures is increasing due to the increase of the digitalization of many of the applications needed for avionics. And on the other side, those environments for which the radiation levels are not the natural one, but higher, like in nuclear decommissioning or particle accelerator or fusion reactors. Transnational access for RadNext is not the only activity. We also have joint research activities in the project, but transnational access is really the cornerstone of RadNext. So this is where most of the budget is also going, and on which we are spending most of the efforts in order to have it really streamlined and effective. We have three calls per year, which are open in January, May, and September. The last call for the project is expected next year in September, which will be call 15. The last we closed was end of September this year. And we already had more than 400 applications with 116 tests already performed and 4,400 beam time hours assigned over a total of roughly 6,000. This is a list of facilities which we have in our portfolio. So we are providing any kind of standard and non-standard radiation type used for radiation testing on electronics with a total of 33 beam lines. And so now, if you're curious about applying to RadNext, let's see how does the application process and selection process look like. First, you can find all the information about the open call and the how to apply on the application portal. The QR code you're seeing on all the slides, which is the same as is larger in this one, will bring you to the Transnational Access section of our website, which is this link here. After you gather all the information, you can prepare your proposal. We have an online application form on our portal, which has been developed for this purpose, in which you can fill out 200-word abstract and description of your project in 3 sections, which are the same sections as you would find in any European project. So we have an excellence, an impact, and an implementation section. These are not so long. In fact, it's 700 words each. You should not write a full proposal for a 1 million project. These will also be the 3 pillars on which the evaluation will take place for your proposal. You also have to add the required beam parameters, and as usual for all the transnational access requests, consider your eligibility criteria. The most common one is that most of the team should not belong to the country in which you are going to perform your activities for transnational access. Otherwise, it's not transnational. And after that, you can submit directly your proposal once you've finished preparing it on the portal itself. And from this moment, all the evaluation phase will start. This is a timeline of how the application and evaluation works. So we have 30 days opening for the call. After about 20 days after closure, you get the results from the selection panel. In another 3 weeks, you will get a facility assigned for your test. And we aim at giving beam time starting from 2 months after the closure of the call. Next calls will be next year. So we will have January, May, and September as months in which we will open for the full month the application. Something which is peculiar to RadNext, at least in this scientific domain, is the fact that the selection is completely internal to the project, as opposed to being instead done by the single facilities which participate to the project. This may sound, I mean, the way we are dealing with the application may sound more the usual one, but instead in this domain, in transnational access project, most of the time the facilities have are those who are actually performing the selection within the proposals which are addressed to them. Also, for RadNext, the application is done for a project and a specific radiation type, so you are not applying to a specific facility. This is because we try to harmonize and distribute as much as possible the request to the different facilities to balance also the offer they are giving, and also to allow the users to, say, discover new facilities which have more potential but are maybe less well known in the scientific community of interest. So the scientific panel, this user selection panel, which is performing the selection, is composed by mostly external persons to the project. So it's not an internal panel, but it's mostly made of experts in the field which are external to the project. And each proposal is evaluated by 3 members of the panel, which give out their evaluation, from which we take the final decision. And so if you are evaluated as positively by the selection panel, this means that the quality of a proposal is good enough to be accepted. After that, the project will assign you a facility, and discussion will start between the applicant, the test team, and the facility to discuss all the technical and the logistic arrangement. After the test, you can ask for reimbursement for the expenses, as it was already introduced this morning. So there's the possibility to be reimbursed. There's a budget, which is a project budget for the reimbursement of these expenses. The way the expenses are reimbursed is actually up to the single facility. This is what is in the rules of transnational access when our project was approved. Sure, we grant some equity and uniformity as for the reimbursement, but being reimbursed for the travel as opposed to lodging, it really depends on the single facility. Also mandatory is to publish the results. This is a scientific project, so you have to disseminate your findings. We request all the users to submit a short test report to our Zenodo repository page, where you can also obviously find all the previous reports from the projects. And you're also, as a user, encouraged to publish on scientific journals and present at international conferences. In case you are not so experienced in the field, because you have to approach, for example, you are a company, or an SME, or a research team well experienced in digital electronics, but you don't have the experience for radiation testing, or in case you've been rejected by the USP in a previous call, you can also count on the support of the user support expert group, which is a counseling team which will help you to maybe improve your proposal for our next submission, or prepare your first submission in case you didn't submit already one. I think this is all as for a brief presentation of the possibilities through RadNext. So good luck if you want to apply. Next call is opening in more than 1 month. Here is the information, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much indeed for the presentation. I've noticed that speakers replied directly also in the chat to some questions, so I think this is perfect. Just there was a question about if we are going to organize another webinars like this one next year. Yes, for sure. We organize twice per year, in some cases also 3 times. So follow us on the Reach Europe website and on Reach Europe social media, where we display and we report all this information. I go directly to the last but not least speakers, and then if there are some pending questions, I can put that on the table.
Yes, Daniele, sorry, just a quick note. I will have to leave. I unfortunately a bit late, so I cannot stay until the end for the
Okay.
table. If there's some
So there is a
specific
question to you.
Yeah.
Is it possible for an academic facility to still join your infrastructure? This is
It may be possible. We are really at the last year of activities, but yeah, you can get in touch with us and we can discuss if it's possible.
Okay. Thank you very much. The email or all the contacts are in the slides, and that will be shared together with the recording. So thank you, Salvatore.
Thanks.
Again. So I go to Oliver Plumper, principal investigator of Excite2, enhance cross-disciplinary community-driven imaging technology for health and environmental. The floor is yours, and thank you to be with us.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Daniele. My name is Oliver Plumper. I'm a professor at Utrecht University in the Netherlands in Earth Material Science, and I'm one of the leading scientists of the Excite network. As you notice, this network now is called Excite2 because we already had one successful network running in Horizon 2020. I will briefly speak about our experiences there. But what we do is exemplified in this figure here. At the heart of our network and the transnational access is microscopy. And we're trying to answer questions around earth materials, earth science, and environmental sciences using microscopy at all length scales and all possible configurations, which I will go into a little bit more detail. Specifically for Excite2, we're targeting problems around environmental nanoscience. And I'm just going to turn on my laser pointer. Renewable energy and critical metals and critical resources, healthy oceans and water, linking environmental factors to human health, climate change mitigation such as CO2 sequestration, but also hydrogen storage, which is coming more and more, and even putting ice into the microscope to understand changes in polar regions. And besides all of this, we also answer very fundamental questions around how the Earth works and how Earth materials play a fundamental role in the evolution of Earth. So we do this by bringing imaging science to you. We try to bring multi-scale, multi-dimensional characterization of Earth materials to transnational access users, from 3D imaging at larger length scales all the way down to the atomic scale imaging in 2D and 3D. And we started off with having electron and X-ray microscopy at the heart of Excite1, where we were making focused ion beam techniques, transmission electron microscopy, and X-ray tomography in all possible configurations available to users. And now within Excite2, we have expanded on this portfolio to put in complementary techniques to electron and X-ray microscopy. This encompasses atom probe tomography, nanosims, atomic force microscopy, different spectroscopy methods such as Raman spectroscopy, and also in situ observations. So 4D X-ray tomography to actually view and visualize and quantify eventually changes in Earth materials in space and time. So where are we located? We are in 14 different countries by now. We are 20 beneficiaries and one associated partner spreading across Europe, and even having a partner in Australia that provides atom probe tomography to the Earth material realm. And very soon we will have 2 new partners that are here in the stars that we're just adding to the project. So we're actually expanding now within Excite2 and our growing network. And besides microscopy, we have also noticed that it is extremely important to bring the computing infrastructures that go, especially with large data sets around, for example, 3D images, to the users. So in Excite2, we have specific work packages and remote TNA, transnational access, that focuses on accessing infrastructures for computations on large clusters. And that is already being utilized very successfully. So this is going back a little bit in time. This figure here I made back in October 2023, but these are where our users are coming from. They're not only from Europe, we have a very large network here in Europe, but also from all over the world, from the US, from Australia, from Africa, from Asia, from Southern America. We were very successful in Excite 1. We ran over 300 transnational access projects, and now only within the first call of Excite 2, we have more than 110 proposals, and many of them are from Europe. We engage with users through various means. What we have noticed, what is very effective, is to be actually on the ground and talk to users. This could be through booths at conferences. We're very successful running multiple conference booths and having people talk to us and directly explain what we can do for interested parties. But we also give a lot of presentations around not only the results of Excite, but also what can Excite do for the users. And we're very active on social media, LinkedIn, or through newsletters to attract new users. So if you're interested, go to our webpage. I will show the link in a minute, and there you can also sign up for our newsletter. We won't spam you, but here you get the most important details on an upcoming call, on new webinars, and so on. So how do you get access to the Excite infrastructures? First, you should check the eligibility criteria, which I won't go into detail. Then you should think about what you want to work on and write your proposal and get in touch with the facility you want to work with. They can tell you more about the feasibility of your project. Is the facility you want to access the right one, or do we know somebody else that has more expertise in your field? And then we will shift things around. You can also apply to more than one facility, and we have a very good network and teaming up together and running quite complex projects where we have to send samples around. And then we go into the submission of proposal. Then there will be a selection phase, and most of it is based on scientific excellence, but we have criteria for young researchers that can tick an extra box and so on. And it's both for academia and industry possible to apply to these calls. And then we will schedule access and have the actual access run. And then after that, we have several user responsibilities for the data, for the forthcoming publications, but we're also very happy to help you in shaping your data publications and making the data openly available. Access can happen in two ways: physical access and remote access. For example, with Australia, we're aiming to have most of the access remotely, but we have had very good experience in Excite 1 by basically having you there through Teams here, right at the microscopes, discussing the images with you directly. So that works very well. But if you have to come to us, we're very open for physical access, and this, of course, will also be facilitated through Excite. In Excite 1, we had about 61% physical access and about 33% remote access. And then there have been about 6% hybrid access, where people sent their samples ahead. We first had some remote access, and then when it came to a next step, they actually came physically to the location. All of this is trying to be channelized through FAST, which is our facility access system that we have developed within Excite 1. This is a platform where you can upload your proposal. The facilities get these proposals. They're sent out for review. You can look up all the instruments. Everything goes through this online platform to streamline the access as much as possible. And then, like I said, we will also in Excite help you with the data publications. So if you have never done this before, we're there to help you to streamline your data, to make it as fair as possible, and then bring it into the open domain. What's coming soon, specifically with an Excite 2, is we will start an Excite Academy, and we will have an Academy Hub on our webpage where we will provide even more knowledge base. For example, videos about specific techniques or data analysis, also more information about different tools. We're thinking about an AI bot that will help you to select the right tools for your research question, and many more things. And this will be launched in the new year. Besides all the transnational access, specifically in Excite 1, but also now within Excite 2, we have been working on tools that help you to analyze your data more efficiently. And there nowadays, AI or machine learning is a very big toolbox. And here what we call everyday AI. We've started several tasks around this. One is in image processing. We have already publications and GitHub web pages on easy-to-use spectral analysis using AI. We've been using a generative AI for upscaling purposes. As in geoscience, we deal very often with upscaling problems. So we're exploring there different ways of using generative AI. If you want to know more about our facility access, the access to our data analysis infrastructures, everything is channeled through our webpage, which is www.excite-network.eu. Here you can find more about who we are, where we're coming from, what are the different facilities, what have the different facilities to offer, but also how to access the facilities. When is the next call? One call is actually finishing or closing in 2 days. The next call will open early next year. It's a 2-page proposal that you can submit over this facility access system that we have created. And the idea is to streamline this and make it as easy as possible to get access to our network. So if you have questions, you're curious about access, you want to know more about the tools we have to offer, you can, for one, visit our webpage. And it's always very good to write us an email on info@excite-network.eu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for your presentation. I think that all the questions in the chat received a reply. We published together with the presentation and also the slides, a wrap up of the Q&A section to make them available. There was a question regarding what steps are taken to encourage the sharing of data generated via the TNA funding? Do you monitor the compliance of your users in sharing the data? I think this is a general question to everybody. I don't know if you Olivier, would like to reply, since you are the last one.
That's absolutely correct. We have a user agreement forms in which we set out the way of how data is shared, where the responsibility with the collected data lies. That's usually with the user. And if new users have never done data publications, we have videos on how to do data publications, and we're happy to discuss this. But typically, all data needs to be openly available after a moratorium of usually 2 years.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, there was another reply in the chat. Well, I think that we conclude our webinar. I want really thanks to the speaker for their participation and also for the relevant information provided. For sure, if some participant has more questions, I think you are available, happy to reply and to inform them about the procedures, about the open call. I repeat also that we as Reach Europe project, we always update, or we try to update monthly the status of the Transnational Virtual Access Call. So thank you very much and indeed everybody again, and see you next time in another situation. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.